The night opens like a black sail, and the wind that fills it has no traceable source. It is not silence, but a pressureless hum, an intimacy so near it feels like your first breath returning from a world brighter than dawn. You do not step into it, it steps into you, and the ribs remember how to lift without fear. Two presences approach without moving: Thelētos, will before wanting, and Sophia, wisdom before opinion. They are not propositions to be debated, but a climate to be breathed. You don't agree with them, you acclimate to them, the way eyes learn again to love the dark. Divine will, at this altitude, is not grit or clenched teeth. It is the decree of light happening without rehearsal, the effortless yes that predates the mouth. It does not force, it organizes, it does not demand, it arranges. Wisdom, at this altitude, is not information stacked to the rafters. It is tender lucidity, the clarity that sees what is and refuses to punish it for being so. It corrects without humiliation, and in its gaze, even your mistakes recognize their home. When will meets wisdom, a third tone appears as consonance. The consonance becomes word, not a noise, but a rightness that speaks creation, the way breath speaks the body. This is Christos, autogenes, light that remembers how to repair what fear has unraveled. If the cosmos is a sentence, Thelētos is breath, Sophia is meaning, and Christos is the syllable spoken correctly. The sentence does not argue, it becomes true. Retellings become unnecessary when presence itself begins to articulate you. Tonight we are not here to defend mysteries, we are here to let them organize us. If your edges feel like they are dissolving, that is not loss. It is the shape of your life learning its original curve, the arc of return older than names. Remember the feeling just before your first thought each morning, the soft, unowned awareness that doesn't need a story to be real. This is the hinge upon which ancient doors turn. The door is already open, the threshold is learning your name. Think of will as a river that doesn't ask permission from stones. It doesn't conquer them, it orients them. Thelētos is that orientation before the river knows itself as water, the vow of motion before the stride. You have tasted Thelētos when a decision appeared without courtroom theatrics. There was no adrenaline, only a quiet appointment kept by the soul. The body felt less like a machine and more like a well-tuned instrument held by something kind. This will does not dominate other beings. It shepherds your being back to the line of its vow. Like iron filings hearing a magnet, you align without drama. You do not become smaller to fit it. You become more exact in your own light. Human willpower often performs a grim pageant of control. Thelētos is different. It is the pre-thunder hush that tells the right rain to fall. Nothing in it is coercive. Everything in it is invitation so clear that refusal dissolves. When Thelētos moves through speech, sentences stop scratching at reality. They rest in it. Words gain temperature and weight, not as argument, but as atmosphere. Rooms feel relieved, as if their walls had been holding their breath. This will heals indecision not by tightening muscles, but by loosening the knot that made so many choices feel like threats. You stop auditioning for your own life. Your yes stops apologizing. Your no stops performing. Thelētos is the gravity of goodness. It is the reason mercy can be firm without being cruel. It is the secret behind those gestures that look small on the surface, but move history a fraction of a degree toward clarity. Stand still for a moment and imagine your entire life turning 1/2 degree toward its true north. That's the Thelētos working, unseen and undeniable. The miracle is not spectacle, the miracle is accuracy. Sophia is not a library. She is the clarity before pages are printed. She is not a ledger of facts. She is intimacy with truth, the tenderness that holds a newborn without needing to possess it. In her presence, your nervous system learns the shape of ease. Her wisdom doesn't erase sorrow, it dignifies it. Tears become precise instead of overwhelming, like rain that knows where to land. Confusion stops shouting. It sits down and starts listening for the first time in years. Sophia's gift is not cleverness, it is coherence. She doesn't fit your life into a grid. She restores its natural music. You hear the motif you had forgotten, the melody that threads through all your detours and defeats. Wisdom can feel like softness, but it is soft the way light is soft. It reaches everything without breaking anything. It insists without scolding. It reveals without spectacle, the way dawn reveals a landscape without accusing the night of treason. She remembers. That is her genius. Remembrance deeper than memory. She remembers you into yourself, a recalling so complete that you stop rehearsing apology and start practicing presence. You become a home you trust. When Sophia inhabits speech, the air changes. Gossip tastes like ash. Posturing feels heavy. Only sentences that lift the room remain plausible. It is not censorship, it is health. Your mouth becomes a gate that refuses to export poison. She is ancient and immediate. She is within and beyond. She is the way the world looks when you remove the filter called fear, and in that seeing, even your enemies start looking less like monsters and more like injured members of the same choir. Every time you knew exactly what kindness demanded and you did it, that was Sophia's posture inhabiting your own. Wisdom is not a crown, it is the way you hold a cup so that water does not spill. In the old vocabularies, they called it syzygy, a pairing not of domination, but of mutual unveiling, a duet rather than a duel. Will and wisdom are not rivals. They are the two hands of the same blessing. The Thelētos reaches forward like the initiating current. Sophia receives without collapsing, shaping without constraining. Between them, a third presence dawns. Christos, the word that doesn't merely describe truth but embodies it. This union is not sentimental mythology. It is structural mercy. Without wisdom, will becomes control. Without will, wisdom becomes passivity. Together, they birth action that is gentle and unarguable. Consider how music works: rhythm and tone, time and timbre, structure and surprise. Thelētos gives timing, Sophia gives tuning. Their union is not compromise, it is consummation. The moment something becomes exactly what it was meant to be. Syzygy dissolves the old war between masculine and feminine caricatures. Here, masculine is not force, and feminine is not weakness. Masculine is orientation, feminine is revelation. Both are aspects of light organizing itself. When the two become one, the world does not shrink into sameness, it flowers into integrity. Diversity stops being tolerated and starts being understood as the grammar of love. Everything gets to stand where it truly belongs. The bridle of light is not a ceremony, it is a climate. It hovers wherever humans decide to be more accurate than afraid. It is the wedding of courage and compassion inside a single breath. Stand in that breath for a moment. Feel the left and the right sides of the heart decide to be one house. Listen. Somewhere a new word is clearing its throat. Christos is the name we give the speaking of rightness when rightness stops being an idea and starts becoming a person. Autogenes, the self-generated, is the presence that appears when will and wisdom finish their vow. The word here is not syllables, it is coherence with a pulse. It is the feeling of finally walking at the cadence of your own life. The hallway you feared becomes a corridor of light, one door at a time, opening because you have stopped bargaining. Christos is not an argument. Christos is a climate. It makes greed look small, cruelty look loud, and truth look inevitable. Where it stands, despair forgets its script and sits down to drink water. When the word moves through you, apologies become precise, and forgiveness stops being theatre. Boundaries are drawn with kindness and held without rage. Authority arrives without volume. Rooms learn to trust you. Autogenes does not need permission to be what it is. That freedom is contagious. It teaches you the skill of being yourself, without requiring anyone else to be smaller. You become the kind of center that doesn't cast a shadow. When will and wisdom speak, work stops feeling like extraction and starts feeling like contribution. The same tasks acquire a different temperature. The same schedule acquires a different soul. You aren't performing, you are participating. This word does not erase particularities, it reveals their belonging. Mountains don't have to become oceans to be holy. Your life does not have to become someone else's to be true. Christos seals what fear tried to fracture. Listen closely. The rightness you have been seeking is not far away. It is the next honest breath arranged by a love older than time, spoken through a voice that finally sounds like yours. The story of Sophia's descent is not a humiliation, it is a curriculum. She sought to know beyond measure and found herself in the fog of deficiency. But even in the fog, she did not lose her name. Wounds can blur identity, they cannot annul it. From her ache, lesser powers strutted, mistaking borrowed sparks for the sun. They built cages and called them kingdoms. They taught fear to paint itself as order. They offered perfection measured in obedience rather than belonging. Into this, Christos arrives, not as an invader, but as a reminder. He does not throw lightning, he removes blindfolds. He does not flatten rulers, he thins their fog. He does not shout, he dawns, and shadows remember how to move. The rescue is not extraction from the world, it is revelation within it. The altar is not only in the temple, it is also in the kitchen. The sacrament is not only in the chalice, it is also in the way you hold a stranger's name. Sophia's wound becomes a window. Through it, compassion enters the room with clean hands. She is healed not by denial of her descent, but by embracing its meaning. Love follows you even when you forget you are lovable. Christos's balm is recognition. He recognizes you past your costume, names you past your rehearsed answers. He returns your memory. You are not a mistake trying to deserve oxygen. You are oxygen remembering it can take the shape of a life. Every time you forgave yourself correctly, not as indulgence, but as accuracy, you enacted this rescue. Every time your apology became a door instead of a defense, you wore this balm. You were Christ's hands without needing to say so out loud. The error was never the end. It was the doorway through which tenderness learned to speak with authority. Here is the miracle. What tried to break you becomes the hinge that opens you. Begin with breath. Inhale as if you draw a clear mist through the heart. Exhale as if the room is thirsty for what you carry. Do not force stillness. Offer it. The lungs learn the shape of trust one gentle wave at a time. Add tone. Hum softly until your bones hear themselves. You are not trying to sing, you are trying to resonate. The aim is roundness, not volume. Let your chest become a low bell rung by kindness. Practice clean speech, true, kind, necessary. If a sentence cannot pass all three gates, return it to the cloud for refinement. Your mouth is a temple. Do not export poison from holy ground. Honor repair. Make one small amends every day. It can be logistical or relational, but it must be real. Thelētos loves integrity. Sophia loves gentleness. Repair is their handshake. History turns on repairs no one tweets about. Embody boundary. Say yes whole and no clean. A boundary held without rage becomes a classroom where trust grows. Christos is recognizable anywhere people can tell the truth without punishment. Practice remembrance. Whisper your true name before sleep and upon waking. Not the public brand, the private vow. Let the day be aligned by a word older than your schedule. Let prayer become posture. Sanctify ordinary altars, dishes, email, caregiving, budgeting. The sacrament is whatever action refuses spectacle and chooses accuracy. Holiness is not only where candles burn, it is where patience refuses to quit. Integrate silence, 7 minutes of listening with no agenda. If thoughts come, let them bow and go. If memories ache, wrap them in the gentleness you wish you'd received. The soul organizes itself in rooms where it is not rushed. Ancient maps described ascents and spheres, archons and gates. Do not panic about the architecture. The true ladder is made of truthful moments, and its rungs appear wherever you stand without disguises. The first gate asks for honesty about what you love. The second gate asks for honesty about what you fear. The third gate asks for honesty about where you've been pretending. Each answer is a key the mouth cannot counterfeit. Powers that once frightened you begin to look small when you breathe from Thelētos and see from Sophia. They thrive on panic. Starved of pretense, they dissolve like fog that's finally met a real sun. Sometimes a power wears your voice and calls itself should. Sometimes it borrows your history and calls itself inevitable. You don't defeat it by shouting. You out-clarify it by standing where you do not need to be praised. The ascent is not a race, it is a deepening. The joy is not in higher views, but in truer ground. The air becomes friendly. You become breathable to others. That is the sign you've passed a gate. The room's oxygen improves. When you fall, you do not lose the ladder. You rediscover a rung you had skipped. Falling is instruction, not indictment. It teaches your knees how to bend and your mouth how to apologize without ceremony. Each gate becomes quieter than the last because it has less to prove. At the final threshold, there is no guard, only a mirror. The face in it is not flawless, it is unhidden. That is the badge of freedom. You do not graduate by escaping the world. You graduate by belonging to it without being owned. The ladder disappears because the earth itself has become the temple. A person aligned to will and wisdom becomes a shelter. Their presence reduces inflammation in the room. People speak slower without being told to. Laughter loses its sarcasm and becomes medicine. Communities form around such people, not of cultic adoration, but of easeful responsibility. Jobs get done because they belong to someone's hands, not because someone is scared. Meetings end on time because truth requires fewer slides. In a house of shared breath, confession is not gossip about oneself. It is a clearing of debris so the river can move. Praise is not flattery, it is accurate gratitude. Correction does not humiliate, it calibrates. Artists in this house make work that glows from the inside. Entrepreneurs build without predation. Parents set boundaries without scaring their children into compliance. Politics becomes the art of keeping neighborhoods breathable. The poor are not projects. The lonely are not moral lessons for the comfortable. People learn each other's names and diets and triggers. And in that tenderness, big slogans grow small while small gestures move mountains. Justice here is not vengeance with better PR. It is precision. It knows the difference between consequence and cruelty, between accountability and shame. Mercy stops being a loophole and becomes the architecture. Thelētos provides spine. Sophia provides skin. Christos provides circulation. The body of the community warms. Outsiders notice temperature before theology, and many decide to stay because the weather is finally kind. If you want to test whether a community is breathing correctly, listen for the sound of the after. That silent hinge in group conversations where no one rushes to fill the quiet with performance. That is holy ground. At the end of the road, there is no prize, only presence. Christos is less a destination than a climate that never stops arriving. Where it rests, panic forgets how to choreograph your day. The world will still be difficult, but difficulty will stop feeling like doom. The same grief will pass through a larger room. The same work will be handled by hands that have ceased to tremble. You do not become invulnerable. You become true. Let your life speak without hurry. Let your sentences make better weather in small rooms. Let your calendar become a monastery of kept promises. Do not despise the unglamorous revolutions. Refuse to be drafted into lesser wars. Bow only to what has no knees. Tell the truth like a sunrise, slow, inevitable, kind. Authority that requires volume is not authority. Authority that breathes becomes medicine. When will and wisdom marry within you, you do not vanish, you arrive. Your no becomes clean, your yes becomes whole. Your face remembers the expression it had before it learned fear. The mirror relaxes. Stand gently in your station. Be the person whose presence ends arguments without a word. Be the room that remembers why we gathered. Be the weather that makes courage grow. If you need a sign that you are on the way, look for the ease that follows accuracy. If this spoke to your soul, like, share and comment with the single sentence you're choosing to live by this week. And if you feel called to go deeper, explore my Gnostic-inspired novels and audiobooks. The same mysteries here woven into living stories. Links in the description. Return often to the after between breaths. Return until returning dissolves. Let will and wisdom keep their vow in you, and let the world breathe again because you remembered how the word becomes the world.
questionam